going on? And welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcast. 250 episodes in, and we still feeling awesome. I'm J5 here with Meelz. They are starting in the background.
Wait, what happens in the background? What's going on in the background?
I was honking. I heard honking. Oh, that was our guest. Oh man.
No. That might be me. So I'm recording in a very different fashion. It's been 251 episodes, and this is the first time I'm ever recording in this way. I'm recording in my bed. This is a very strange feeling.
Wow.
I know. It's very intimate right now. I feel like I'm talking on the phone right now, but I'm recording in my bed because it's very, very hot in New York City. Very, very hot, dangerously hot. It's like this heat wave has been killing us over the last number of days. So I didn't want to park myself where I usually record is right next to an air conditioner. And actually in episode 250, you can kind of see myself from time to time wiping my brow because I'm sweating like hell because the AC isn't on. And there's a light shining right in my face. So I decided, okay, my bed is not close to the air conditioner. Maybe I can kind of like finagle it, have a fan on while I do this, so I don't just pass out in the middle of recording and you don't hear a good like thud and then I'm out and you're just like Meelz episode. So I'm here this week. It's incredibly hot in New York City. How is it by you, Justin?
It's pretty hot. It's like 92 degrees out here, and imagine doing that and I'm trying to move to like the valley. So like where I'm living at now, it's like 10 degrees cooler than it is in the valley. Like,
yeah, well, you know what? It pays the cost to be the boss. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'll say. That's what I'll say about that. First thing before we get into, because we do have a special guest on the episode that I want to get into, but first things first, I want to thank everybody for showing up to our A Show 250 live stream. Whether you watch on Twitter for whatever reason or you watch on YouTube proper, thank you for showing up. Thank you for, dropping everything. We got the people. Justin, I'm gonna send you a list of the people who we essentially got to send shirts to. I have the list of people I got to send shirts to. The only thing is now I need to get the address, but I'll figure that out. I know these people, so I'll hit them up and make sure that they get their merch. But thank you guys. We would very also appreciate it if you subscribe to the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is going to be something where when we have video, we'll put it up. We have classic segments putting up this week. I think I put up one. Oh, so I put up the segment of Roman Reigns' return. From 2020. So that is up. So you can go listen to our first kind of responses as we're 2 years later in this man's run of his return. And I spliced in our reaction to him winning the Universal Championship and all that other jazz.
That episode, we were so fucking excited when Roman came back. I
listened bruh. Later, I cut this part out, but later we're talking about like, okay, who's he gonna face for WrestleMania? And I'm like talking like, oh, Keith Lee, definitely Roman Reigns versus Keith Lee at WrestleMania. And I'm just like, in my brain, I'm like, why did I even say that? But and then later this week, although Justin isn't on it, we do have another freshly newly married gentleman, Jeff J. Shout out, congratulations to Jeff J on his marriage. Got married over the weekend. I'm doing the 1 year anniversary of CM Punk debuting, so we'll have that clip up on the YouTube as well. So make sure you tune into that. Thank you guys. You were not on the show. I think after SummerSlam we swapped off weeks, so you missed the 26-second week, and then you came back the following week with Trevor to talk about Nia Jax and Charlotte throwing hands.
Yeah, that elite.
So that was fun. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys subscribe to it and subscribe to. Oh, one more announcement. So the merch. If you're listening to this, you can hear the sound of my voice. The pre-order for the merch will end on Sunday. That is Sunday, August. Let me make sure the date. August 14th. So Sunday, the pre-orders will close, so I can go batch up everything, order everything, and then ship them all out. So if you have not gotten yourself a piece of the A Show Revenge Tour merch, please do that. Please, please, please do that. You're running out of time, is what I'm saying. All right, that's all the announcements that I got. You want to get into our guest?
Yeah. Our guest today is someone that I hold a lot of reverence for. I think he's, you know, just a fucking supernova. You know what I mean? One of my
My
favorite.
favorite new Discord members, easily.
But here's my thing. Here's my thing with our Discord members. I love all of you motherfuckers. I got a new favorite every week. So don't think that that's the case. That you know what I'm saying. But this person is
You can think
definitely.
of it for me. I will say it for sure. I wrote it on his thing. But go on.
But he's someone that I don't even know. You know what I mean? Like I'm just glad you're on the show. You know what I'm saying? Bri Bosa, what's up, man?
Legs and hips and Bobby. What's up? Hi. Oh my God, this is great. I love that introduction. I didn't like being thrown under the bus within the first minute, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm glad. I'm shocked that you stayed silent the whole time.
I have been holding my mouth this whole time. I've been crying, like laughing this whole time. But yeah. I thought I was straight behind this and let me keep it.
This motherfucker, this nigga.
Yep. In my head. That's our guest. Okay.
Listen, man, I'm glad that you're here.
Thank you. It's so glad to be here. So glad to be on the show. I love this show. I love it.
How did you find us?
So around 2019-ish, I've always been on Twitter, like Stan Twitter-ish. I've always been, but mainly music and like pop culture. But at some point I was like, where are wrestling funny people at? Like no one on wrestling Twitter is like funny. Everyone's just official news reports. It's like where the funny people at? And around that time I started seeing a lot of like, especially Black wrestling accounts, especially sometime towards the pandemic, I want to say. Y'all's tweets started coming up on my TL. Especially you, Johnny Five, like your tweets, I'd be like, wait a minute, this guy's kind of smart. Let me start getting into his tweets because I was like, he may be onto something. And then Meelz, you'll be right behind him, like, wait a minute, he's also talking good stuff. I was like, this is where I need to be. This is the community I need to be. And then sometime last year is when because I knew y'all had the podcast, but I never like had time to actually tap in. But sometime earlier this year, I was like, let me get into these podcasts, and ever since it's been weekly. I even like go back and listen to some old episodes when I'm bored. Like I just want to hear y'all's opinions on stuff, y'all's ideas, y'all's thoughts, because like I said, some smart thoughts be going on in y'all heads. I'm like, yes, I agree. And I just fall in line, and that's how it's been since.
No, you don't fall in line. I think you got one of the most kind of dynamic opinions of anybody, and you start laughing.
Cause I'm very opinionated. I know what I like, and I know other people don't like. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. You're I'm okay with disagreeing, and I'm also okay with agreeing. But mostly, I'm gonna like what I like, and that's all I stand in.
Yo, Bri Bosa, what standum do you represent currently?
Oh no, please! I see we was doing so good.
Oh no, I can talk. Okay, so as I'm known in the Discord, I'm known as the crew head, but I don't represent those people. Like I said, I like Sasha, I like her. I do not mess with those people. But yeah, Roman he's always been one of my faves. Always, even the Shield is he got that dog, and yep, I stuck beside him, and look where we at. It feels good. Bianca, love her. Them three, my big three right now, forever and always. Okay. Some faves on that other show. I love me some Jade. That's I love me some Jade and Hook. That's it.
All right, listen. Ain't mad at that. Listen, we support Jade on this episode, this podcast too. We just don't know if the company that she keeps.
And don't. I don't recognize the company. I recognize them. When people be like, support the wrestlers, not the company, I'm like, I agree. Just in them case, I will.
Well, I'm glad. Listen, I'm glad you're on this episode. First of all, you're a Hall of Fame patron, so thank you. You clearly wanted to. You were like, I have thoughts. and I want to parachute down into this episode and then get some thoughts off my brain. So this is definitely the place that you can do it. We got so much stuff to talk about this week, considering this is week. Is this week 2, week 1 of Triple H's true run, or what are we counting this as?
It's week 2.
Yeah, complete week 2. Yeah,
it's week 2. I think that my thing with this is that I feel as though a lot of people are like getting really antsy. And it's not just like in social media, it's just like everywhere. Everyone's really antsy, like, oh my God, what's he gonna do? Like it's like it's excitement, but it devolves into like just lunacy, where it's like, and we'll talk about this when we talk about SmackDown, obviously, and we talk about Raw as well. But it's like people are not like letting things just happen.
Exist. Yeah.
Sure.
And I don't know. It's getting kind of crazy. Every time I turn around, it's just like, do y'all think Triple H is gonna? Do y'all think Triple H? I'm like, I don't know.
He might, or he might not. I don't know.
Especially
to be honest with you,
especially doesn't help that people also have a past to like talk about, like his run in NXT and running that. People are always talking, comparing it to that, bringing that. I'm like, y'all, just let the product happen. Let just breathe. That's what I just exist with what's happening. Don't think too. Don't bring up the old. Don't just think about what's going forward. That'd be the most frustrating part. Don't bring up black and gold.
I will say this, and we'll talk about this a little later as well. The pacing is just, yeah. I take the pacing of these shows.
Yeah, everything flows together a little too well. I'm like, oh yeah, this like these 3 hours haven't been completely been like feeling like 3 hours. Like they are, but I'm like, it is 10 o'clock. Okay, 1 more hour left.
I used to tap out. Yeah. Nah, I used to tap out, and then I haven't been over the last number of weeks. Everything has been worth watching, even the small stuff. Boom. You know what we should do, since we're on the topic of Triple H? I have a Patreon question.
Oh wow!
I sent out to the masses. So maybe we need to hop on Patreon right now.
Oh wow! Bri is going to the Patreon zone for the first time. It's going to be crazy.
Yes. So we're gonna hop on Patreon. We'll be right back with if you're not on Patreon, we'll be back with No Holds Barred. But if you're on Patreon, get ready for the ride.
Yeah, and we also got This Week in Wrestling. So walk through this tunnel real quick, Bri. Don't worry about the gun. Just walk through.
Oh, okay.
All right. Patreon, you missed a classic. You really did miss a classic.
Tensai. It's crazy.
It was 29 minutes of just us talking about Lord Tensai.
Oh.
Yeah. I actually missed one. I missed the show on This Day of Wrestling. I'm gonna actually give this one away for free.
Ooh, all right. Let's see what's going on.
Let's see what the locals good.
Now, Bri, you know I've been nudging Meelz ever so slightly for the last couple of weeks on this, right?
Okay. Oh, you on some WCW shit? God, man. God damn! All right. Well, let's see what's going on here. Who's facing a rubber chicken? What's going on?
Oh, Saturday, August 8th, WCW Road Wild.
From what year is this?
I don't know.
98. Just imagine all of the slurs that were flung at the Barbarian and Ming, who had a match on this show.
What's the equivalent of Sturgis in 2022? By the way,
the whole anything below the Bible Belt.
Okay.
You had Psychosis versus Rey Mysterio Jr.
Okay.
Yum.
I'm sure Yum. I'm sure they got out of there fairly quickly.
Also had the Outsiders and an NWO Invitational Battle Royal between the heavyweight champion Goldberg, Scott Hall, Scott Norton, the Giant, Scott Hennig, Conan, Lex Luger, Kevin Nash, and Sting.
That's a lot of names. You just about
it was a Battle Royal, and Goldberg won. Really long show. Main events it with Diamond Dallas Page and Jay Leno versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff.
Right? Have you ever seen that?
No, I don't know any past before I started watching. I don't pay attention. I go forward, look
I
forward,
feel you. I feel you.
look
I'm not.
forward.
I'm not even gonna cap to you. I feel like
Mhm.
me and Cyrus need to watch one of these shows.
Y'all got that?
Better him than me. I'll tell
I
you that.
feel like Meelz needs to be on the show with us. What do y'all say out there?
I'm currently in the pre-planning phases of my own throwback show,
Ain't no
The
problem.
Draft
Go to
Diaries.
show, Mills.
The
Go to
Draft
show, Mills.
Diary. Listen, man. Listen. The Draft Diaries. You guys are in for a treat. I've been doing a lot of research for the whatever happened in 2002, which is like, damn. How old were you in 2002, Bri?
I had just popped out.
Get the fuck out. All right.
I had just popped out. All right, we're gonna get into No Holds Barred. Can we please,
Awooga.
can we please boot bro? He said awooga too. Bro. So we're gonna start off. We're gonna start off big here. John Laurinaitis has been quietly let go by the WWE. Mike Johnson of PW Insider reported that he was a head of talent relations from 2004 to 2012. Had a second stint that started just last year. Obviously, Johnny Ace and Vince McMahon were the first two implicated in the issues going on with Vince McMahon that led him to retire from the company. And we pretty much assumed that he was going to be the first shoe to drop. I'm not surprised that they didn't announce this more heavily, but with Triple H back in the position, he's redundant. There was no use for him to be there. It was just a matter of time before he was let go, and I mean he's gone now. What do you think about it, Meelz?
If I know how these corporate companies get down, they probably gave him some nice money, nonetheless, for as much as he worked, and probably told him like, listen, you can't work here no more. Here's what we're gonna pay you. Here's what we're gonna pay you for the rest of the year or your rest of your contract or whatever the hell it is, and just go. Just go. I'm sure that's exactly what happened. I feel no way about John Laurinaitis. I never really had to interact with him outside of People Power.
Power.
But considering he was in this thing and got himself wrapped up in this, and considering all the jokes that Bruce Pritchard makes about him on the show and kind of how it ended up being like very real, couldn't have happened to a better guy.
What about you, bro?
Like Neil said, I have no opinion. Like, especially when everything was coming out and when they were kind of basically throwing him under the bus on a lot, and that's how the story was pointed out. I was like, dang, it's only a matter of time. And then the silently just happened. It came across TL. I said, this happened. Now we move.
Exactly.
It was like, hey, like I said, the only thing I know about that man was his on-screen presence. And hey, people aren't getting called by him about their releases no more. So that's good for them.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that voice over the phone. So we just move.
Yeah, talent
Yeah.
reportedly hated dealing with him. He was always kind of the stooge around everything, according to what Pritchard has said it. Pretty much everyone has said it. But yeah, Vince and the Vince era seems to be ending in kind, and we're seeing on so many levels that things are actually kind of changing before our eyes in terms of WWE, and with him being gone, that's kind of one of the last bastions of that old era. Obviously, Kevin Dunn's still there. I think that Dunn stays on for as long as he wants to. But one thing I will say, I can't imagine he'll stay on for that much longer with his two biggest advocates being gone. I can't see him staying that much longer.
Yeah, I give him the end of the year. Maybe not end of the year, but not too much past 2023. At that.
He probably gonna dip. Yeah, on his own.
Yeah, I just can't see, like, there's nobody there. It's a younger. It's literally, even though like Triple H and staff aren't like young, just in terms of the people in power, it is a way younger, community there now compared to what it was 2 years ago. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes forward. AEW video game news.
Yep.
A trailer released last week.
Sure. Yes.
Did you guys see that?
Yep.
I didn't. I'm not a video game guy, but I listened to the War Report and it sounded terrible.
There's a lot of news coming out, a lot of leaks that are potentially coming out about the game. A lot of people saying that it's possibly coming out in September. Trailer came out. It's gotten a mixed to positive reaction, if I have to say so myself. Obviously, people are ragging on the graphics, but saying, well, long as the gameplay is good, on a game that no one has ever played.
Crazy. It's crazy how the flip flop is crazy.
I'm interested in seeing the reaction. Obviously, like I'll reserve my opinions publicly. I hope that it succeeds for the basic fact that we need more than one wrestling game out there right now. You can't have a 2K NBA 2K situation where there's only one show in town. There needs to be more.
You don't like Fire Pro Wrestling? What's wrong with that?
I never got into it, man. I never got into it because you know what? Graphics kind of matter to me. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Nah, I feel you.
Graphics definitely matter to me. So, I don't know about y'all, but I need my games to look kind of not like Fire Pro does. But I can appreciate the level of design people put into the game. There's been a lot of rumors, scuttlebutt stuff that's been circulated about the game. No one knows if it's true. No one even knows when it's going to come out. But I do have some WWE 2K news. 2K22 was named as a big contributor to Take-Two Interactive. That's the publisher of the game. Their $1 billion fiscal quarter. It was a big, big hit. So in the time period from March 30th to June 30th, they said that it was a contributor to their 41% increase in net bookings. That means the basically the rough amount of money that they made over that quarter. And it's been a game that's gotten a lot of support. It's I still see people enjoying it. I haven't heard a bad thing about it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I haven't heard a bad thing about the game since it came out.
It's too good. That's a fun game. That's a fun experience. Like especially like from the fiasco that is 2K20, they needed this, and as we've seen, like they've proven like it was necessary. Like, this is everyone, like you said, nothing negative, nothing positive, nothing like. It's a fun experience from everyone who talks about it, anyone who plays it, and even from casual video game fans, like video game players, just in general. It's a fun experience. Like this is a great success for them. Nothing more, nothing less.
Absolutely. I mean, shout out to Cornell and that team over there in 2K. They really did the damn thing. And they're waiting for the next thing. And if Cornell asks you if you play 2K, don't play 2K with them. Don't.
Oh. I be seeing them asking this where I'd be like, do I want to say yes? Now turn my phone off. I'm like,
yeah, no.
I want to have fun.
Ignore that nigga.
I don't want to go to no boot camp. This ain't Natalia. I'm not. It's just, this is a game.
So it's being reported by Fightful that Triple H and a couple other people, Shawn Michaels being one of them, are reaching out to several different people that were formerly on NXT to come back to the company. We're going to talk about one of them, so I'm going to leave him out of the report right now. But Gargano was revealed to be one of these talents, and Fightful revealed that Shawn Michaels was put in charge of reaching out to Gargano, and the decision was made after the management changes that happened after Vince McMahon left WWE. Of course, Gargano left NXT last December and let his contract run out. And Candice LeRae, I think, is still under contract. If I'm to be believed that she's actually still getting paid.
Nah, I thought she was transferred. Yeah, I think her thing expired too. Like I think she was transferred to the alumni page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So these I'll say this right now. Johnny Gargano is the smartest guy that has done this, right? He let the contract run out. He didn't say nothing. He didn't get rattled by anything. He even would address rumors openly, like, this is not me. I'm not going to be in, I'm only going to be in Chicago for a couple seconds. I'm not going to be at this AEW show. Stop thinking it's me. I'm not going to be there. He's waited to see what the landscape is going to look like. And now the world is his oyster. His mans is running one part of the company. His other mans is running, his dads are running the company now. He could go do that if he wanted to. Or he could go to AEW. What do you guys think about Gargano's moves here?
Very smart for someone in his position, especially like coming off the heels of being NXT's like kind of lead for the past most of the decade. Like he's playing smart, like you said, seeing the landscape of not only like WWE but both companies and just other companies in general, seeing how they've either floundered or how they've just existed in this period. It's been smart. It's been smart, and for him to be one of these names in this reports is really it's interesting. He plays his cards right. Played his cards right.
I wish the best for him. I'm not even gonna hold you guys. I am dying of heat in this damn room. But Johnny Gargano, I mean, you know what? I feel like he originally was apprehensive, kind of like everyone else is, kind of similar to Adam Cole, where he thought, I guess, maybe he wasn't going to be used in a particular way, or felt like he would be portrayed in a certain way that he didn't want to. Maybe he thought the idea of wrestling in WWE under the guise of Vince McMahon and however they were newly doing business was not appealing to him, so he just decided to take a step back and was like, okay, I'm just going to chill. I've saved enough money where I can chill and kind of like figure things out. I don't know if I'd necessarily call it smart, but I definitely would say like it worked out for him in the long run, considering all of the events that happened
Why wouldn't you call it smart?
because it's more of a coincidence. Like we didn't know that this Vince thing was going to happen and he's going to be ousted from the company.
But I still think that even if the Vince thing didn't happen, I'd still say he had a clearer path. He has a clearer path now, but he still had a clear path even if Vince was there.
I don't know though. What would have been his role if Vince McMahon was there? You know what I'm saying? Like we'll never know, to be honest with you. But it seems like because of the two people that are in power, he was definitely going to have a much a much more worthwhile experience, possibly, from people who generally know him and have worked with him in the past very, very closely. I don't know if I'd say it was smart. I would just say it was just like, you know, great, right place, right time. That's what I would say it was. I don't know if it was like calculated or anything. Like a lot of things happened in this situation and a lot of stuff occurred that we didn't really foresee happening, and now it makes him look now the situation is like umpteen times better for him coming back into the fold.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's what I would say.
I would also say, like, if Vince was, because it's not like in the past few months, Vince has done a somewhat okay job finding something finding something to do, like Ciampa. You know, he's been under Triple H's regime, I guess, past 2 weeks now. But Vince still had a hand in bringing him up, doing something with them, like with the Miz and other people. Like he found something for Elias to do. He found something for Riddick Moss to do. So I feel like Johnny Gargano would have been another one. Something would have been done with him, especially with the pull he has, the relevance he has, I guess you can also say, and just the excitement of him coming back. Something would have been for him, but I will say the waiting it out for a new, like, a power dynamic, I guess, what was kind of a coincidence, but still, I would say it was smart to just let it just go with the flow.
Right. One more thing here. There's been a lot of talk about Sasha Banks and Naomi returning.
Yep.
There's been reports that talks have started back up between the two and that they could be either imminently coming back or that the conversation is happening or trending in the right way that they would come back. Both Sasha and Naomi appeared at the C2E2 convention in Chicago last weekend. Of course, they had their signing or whatnot. I'm pretty sure no one asked them, hey, are you coming back or anything like that? Or if they did, they probably played coy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we've all seen the pictures from this over the weekend. What say you? What say you two? Well, what's the idea here? I mean, they're bringing back the tag team, the women's tag team championships. They're not going to be on these two women. What's the odds? What are the odds?
I'd say the odds are pretty strong that they were probably going to be back, to be honest with you. I couldn't see a reason why they wouldn't be back. And to be honest with you, I thought the odds were pretty strong even before the Vince thing happened.
Yeah.
They have not been released from the company. Doesn't seem like they were. They are still incredibly valuable. And we've talked about this kind of like, even we made the comparisons to the Mustafa Ali kind of like dilemma where he wanted his release and he was not granted his release as much as he wanted it. And they still managed to find a way to work things out and bring him back. I always felt like Naomi and Sasha would have done that as well. It would have been to me, a fumbling of whatever circumstances by one side and or another side if that didn't happen. But I always felt like they were coming back, and I could see, especially with this new regime, to me, the inclusion of like Dakota Kai and Io Shirai is definitely a carrot like dangling in front of their face for someone new to work with, and how to present the women's tag team if they're going to be in this role. So I'm for it. I think it's gonna happen. If I had to put a date by it, I would say after a Clash at the Castle, to be honest with you.
Right. What say you? I know this is your gang, right?
Yeah.
So what's up?
That's my hood. Yeah. It was never a matter of if for me. It was just when. But I will say that night, Rad said that one tweet. My heart sunk, but I was kind of calmed. I was just letting it go. And as the few weeks have gone and how new information comes out, I'm like, okay, it's just a question of when. And then I think a couple days ago, I think y'all said in Discord, someone had brought up that qualms are kind of solved like a week or so after the incident. So it's like, okay, it's just waiting out for when they want to bring them back or what they have them do coming back. Because like you said, Meelz, with the whole tag team tournament coming up, there's something easy they can throw them into if a certain color is willing to go with that, go with the flow of all of that. And it's just a matter of what the writing on the wall is for them going forward when they come back, and the reactions and all that jazz, the conversations held around it, all that. We're just waiting for that.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, obviously fans are gonna love it. I'm just wondering what the locker room would think about it. I'm wondering what that conversation looks like. I know a lot of people with more extreme opinions about this would be like, well, they should be glad they're back. But I'm like, I don't know. Like I feel like a lot of people would be pretty upset with what they did.
I bet someone like Shotzi's gonna be like, "What? I'm back to what?" Someone like something I will give a lot of people, on the opposite opposing side. Them being gone gave a lot of time to that thin SmackDown roster. Like we able to got to see like from the likes of Shotzi, from the likes of Aaliyah, like something like that, and for them to come in, and because they will take up majority time, they will take up a lot of story. So as we all expect. So it's just a matter of, yeah, how they feel and how they all react. But we'll find out, or we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's get into the shows.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
First full week uncumbered by any type of drama or controversy for Triple H this week. SmackDown. Does it feel different? Do these shows feel different to you too?
I need maybe another week. Like it feels something we brought up earlier. The shows flow very well. Something I will definitely say is different is these match times, which I am iffy about because I'm cool with longer matches. But a match on this show, I love Corbin, but Ricochet and Corbin does not need to go 2 commercial breaks.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, some of these, I'm like, Vince maybe had a point with some of this because I don't need these long. I don't need 3 commercial breaks for some of these people. Like, come on now, let's get in and out. It's
But
TV.
to your point, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people say can't go was because they were told not to go. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people say, well, Corbin can't go. And it's not like you're saying the match was bad, right? The match was actually really good.
Right.
But it was like we're so used to seeing things like very quick. And it's going to be interesting to see because it's like that on Raw too. The Finn and Ray match was about 3-4 commercial breaks. Like it went a really long time, but it was between two people we knew could go. And this match was a surprise because it was like, oh, okay, Triple H he's actually gonna give Ricochet some time to come back and get the fans behind him, and that's what worked for me. And I thought it was good that he's again rehabbing Ricochet. If this was the last regime, Ricochet would have lost to Gunther, and he would have been off TV for a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? But they kept him on TV.
Yeah, so that's something I will give Triple H's new regime. That's something he's giving a lot of people time that probably on the Vince they probably wouldn't even sniffed. So that's something I'll definitely give him. Yeah.
I mean, I loved it. So that's my guy.
To see this?
I mean, it is what it is. I ain't hiding no more.
Compromise.
Guy's my guy. What is it? You have a guy. I have a guy.
If you go to AEW, what you doing?
I watch him on AEW.
No.
You see that? You see this?
I watch him on AEW.
No.
Listen, I support my guy.
Ricochet gonna sound like Athena on AEW if he goes. Continue.
Oh wow.
See? He's gonna start speaking like that.
See how niggas be green?
Let's see. What else happened on SmackDown? They booed Liv. How do you guys feel about that?
Oof.
Not booed, but like Ronda had to have opened up a Crystals or a Checkers somewhere in South Carolina, because the way they were going up for her and not for Liv, to me, was very, very strange, and it was very, very Liv was moving off the cuff, and I don't know if that was the right response that she should have led with. But
Yeah.
how did you feel about that situation?
You definitely need to script Liv, I think.
Yeah, because her just trying to do this baby face, like I'm a fighter, watch me promo against people actively booing you, having good points. I was like, they need to have something for her better to do, because she looked flustered up there, and I felt bad just watching, and it's just like, oof, I don't know what you do.
But you run that risk, right, when you book her the way that they booked her at SummerSlam, which I get it. You booked yourself into a corner.
Mm-hmm.
You could not make Ronda look weak in any way, shape, or form at all.
Yeah,
and
right.
you couldn't exactly have Liv lose the belt in 2 weeks. So because this ain't the Attitude Era anymore. So again, they're running the risk. I'm interested in seeing how they write themselves out of this without turning Liv heel, because they literally cannot do that. But you have to make her look strong. You have to let her get a definitive win against somebody that's a big time star, without any fuckery. And they have to do that soon. I think that this is to be expected. I think, because you have to get, that's the way that they booked her. People are not going to like that. Some people are going to like that, and that's also like that's just the rules that come with it. But it's all in terms of like how they follow up on this. I think they have something with Liv. They should not give up on her. But I do think that they need to give her something stronger than what they gave her on Friday.
Yeah, she needs to come with a different approach to this character. If they plan to keep her like this, there has to be some sort of more intention and just more, the kind of more fuel to it, because it's getting quickly paint by the numbers babyface right now. But something I will say, with your point with her fighting more established stars, but something I will also be like, this is a good roster for her as champion, because I feel like a lot of that roster is fairly like new, fresh people, and I feel like someone like her to be that like focal point for them is good, because I feel like she drowns in a roster like Raw with what Raw got, but in SmackDown I feel like she very much stands out as the champion.
That's her speed.
Yeah, it'll be good for her. That's what she needs to rack up wins against those people. I don't want more Natalia, but people like Natalia, get a good win on someone like Raquel. She needs more of that, definitely.
What do you think, Meelz?
I don't know. They got her interest in it. I'm literally like, I don't think they're gonna turn her heel in any instant of the word, but I do think they've definitely put her in like you said, a compromising position of like, how necessarily do we come back from this? And I think, she had a promo all after the fact. I think it was on Talking Smack or whatever the hell they call that show afterwards. That was pretty decent. I was like, yeah, but you could have did that in the ring, to be honest with you. But it'll be interesting to see kind of where this goes from here. I like the direction now of her first opponent at Clash at the Castle being Shayna Baszler. I think once you rehab Shayna Baszler, pair her with Ronda Rousey, you got something that's kind of magic there. And I think it's something very Liv can overcome this and look better. And it's kind of like Ronda, but not really Ronda. Yeah. But you have the opportunity to say like, okay, how does Liv grow from here? So I'm not mad at the direction they've gone. I don't think it's bad. She's gonna get booed. People love Ronda. It's a face versus face feud. I don't think Greenville, South Carolina,
is going to course correct anything that happens in this feud.
Let's not give them too much. Like, people are giving them way too much stock. Let's not give them that much stock. She's still very popular.
Right. If people was like, this crowd, oh, they changed their lip. I was like, stop. I'm on Twitter. Y'all, they still love her. Like let's kind of, it's just a one crowd thing to me. Yeah.
It's a strangely smart crowd, by the way, that week. I have no clue why they were like that. That night in particular. Shinsuke Nakamura in a collision course with Gunther. Their first match is this Friday on Smackdown. I think it's been built long enough. I thought the match between Ludwig and Shinsuke was actually really good on SmackDown. I was like, but this ain't it. This ain't the match.
Yeah. Ludwig's been showing out. That's a good hand. That's a good hand for it, especially in Gunther's position. That's a good hand.
The main part of this show for the night was the gauntlet match that was going to determine the contender for Liv's title at Clash at the Castle in September. This was the Raquel match through and through. They see something in her. It's not time yet, but this is clearly the position that they want her to be in, and they wanted to make her look strong. What say you guys?
Look, I like Raquel. She's one of those. She can go in the ring. I like her matches. She knows what she's doing. She knows how to play her role well. It's just her presentation. It's the cheesing. She's still flexing on the main roster. I'm gonna need, if they really want to put their chips behind her, I'm gonna need more from her personality and character wise, and also if that character wise reflects in the ring. Because like I said, she can go. She knows what she's doing. She's very aware. But I need more. I need more from her, from a character point of view.
Yeah, she doesn't really have a lot going for her, to be honest with you, and I don't really see anything long term. She kind of reminds me of just. I said it on Twitter, like they really like package her as just like Rocky Maivia, and then like shout out to that guy Greg who literally put it together like Rocky Raquel Maivia. But that's kind of how she's like been to me. Like there's nothing beneath the surface. I mean, and she faced Ronda and then lost like in the second week. So like, what are we really like going for here? I don't really see. I could see them moving forward or something, but she's gonna have to turn heel. That's really kind of how it's gonna have to go. Lacey isn't on the show, thankfully. If they need another big heel on the show, I would go with Raquel Gonzalez or Raquel Rodriguez. See, I don't even remember her last name, so it's like. It's kind of, what's the point anymore?
It's kind of odd that some of the Vince projects like Lacey, I would have to assume Veer was one of them, are not on these shows, and they pretty much disappeared off TV with no. She wasn't even in the gauntlet, but it was all Triple H projects and Natty that were in that match. Very interesting the way that they're getting positioned right now. They pretty much just said, "Fuck this weird heel turn. Aaliyah's gonna do something else now."
Yeah.
So we get down to Raquel in the final match against Shayna Baszler, and I thought Shayna did well, and Shayna ends up winning the match, and we got we pretty much got Liv versus Shayna Baszler at Clash of the Castle. I would not have expected this a month ago, but here we are.
I feel like if this match going forward, I feel like we potentially run the risk of a similar like Shayna Dakota-esque feud. I feel like if they going forward with this, I would want to see something different from Shayna in this type of situation, being person that breaks girls down, makes them cry, things like that. I feel like especially with Triple H at the reins again, it's like I feel a part of me feels like that's a direction, especially with Liv's character at the moment. So I just hope it's different going forward. I hope we get some new out of both of these women, especially Shayna. We haven't had much character personality of her outside of the short stint with Ronda during her and Natalia's feud, and even before that, it's been kind of silent since. So
yeah. She's got it, but they keep putting Liv against real shooters in the
ring. Like, come on, you can only do so much. You can only do the Shayna got her in the Karafuda and she pins by just rolling backwards. You can only do that so much, and I a part of me feels like that's what it's going to come to. Yeah, you need to give Liv a definitive win, and I feel as though doing Shayna and Ronda first is it's crazy, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I mean, again, you have you have that look with Shayna, but you also have the idea that like Ronda's also her friend. They could play into that. I feel like with Triple H at the helm, he probably will want to play into that. He loves his MMA characters, and and we see we see that going into. Before I get to the main event segment, the New Day and the Vikings, please get them away from each other, please. I'm done.
New Day feuds be going a little bit too long this year, and they're on Friday every week too. That's why I'm like, dang, we gotta do this again.
To be fair, there's been a lot of things that have not shaken out the right way for them. Big E comes back, gets injured immediately. I believe one of them got hurt again. I think was it Kofi or like one of them got hurt. I feel like Xavier might be off doing other stuff like promotional stuff for G4 and stuff. That's why he's not on TV. And now they're still in this feud, and no one's gonna win. But the show ends with Roman Reigns addressing Drew McIntyre. Drew gets out within 2 seconds of his promo.
Yeah,
you hear a familiar song, Karrion Kross's theme. You see Scarlett, she's back, and you see Karrion Kross attacking Drew McIntyre. Attacks him, points to Roman Reigns. The hourglass goes in the ring. TikTok, Roman's like, what the fuck does this mean? I don't watch NXT.
You telling me the time I gotta watch? What we doing here?
And this caused so much panic, so much concern, so much crying, so much. Jesus Christ! Even me in the Discord, I'm like, bro, can we just stop talking about it? Like,
I was watching that Discord. I was like, y'all mad. Anyways, I'm a fallen prey. Yeah, Karrion, for me, I loved his. I don't ask for much. Like his presentation was, I kill people, and I was like, I agree. Like before, and then he got injured, and I was like, aw. And he came back, and I feel like he was still the same until I think Cyrus brought it up in the Discord. I was like, until he went to the title picture again, I was like, aw.
Yeah.
That's when the wheels started just getting worse and worse. And then Raw, it got worse and worse. They were booing him out when he lost the NXT title. Like it was bad for him. But but like I said, his early presentation, I was like, this is a guy. I'm entertained. And now he's back in the same presentation with the same song. I was like, oh yeah, I'm tapped in.
And he's got Scarlett. I think a lot of what had to do with why it didn't work the first time was that his presentation was completely fucked with. Yeah. And even if he wasn't the best between the ring, like the thing about it is that he was actually pretty fine and serviceable if you looked at it from the lens of when he first got to NXT. Right. I thought that at the time, this is like, obviously COVID had already started, but it's like NXT needed less long matches. And I said, if Karrion can give you 15 minutes and it'd be really good and it shows something really cool, that's fine. He was working with people that were smaller than him. Obviously, they're going to be bigger than him. Like Drew is bigger than Karrion Kross. Let's just be clear. Like
he was trying to hit him with that back up. I was like, don't wait for him to stand up. You're gonna look crazy. Just get him on the ground. Yeah.
Like I was like, but and if your presentation looks well, it didn't seem that way on SmackDown. And I feel like a lot of this is on Triple H to redo this, start from scratch, and kind of do it over and do it the right way. And I think that he comes up with a leather jacket that's already like, if he is just leather jacket guy that beats people up, that's fine. There aren't like, show us what you got. You know what I mean? Like him working with Drew or Roman, those are two guys that at the end of the day, you know what I mean? They could really do good matches. I'm not sold on it being a triple threat. I don't think this is leading that. There's no way that they build up that Drew stuff for that long for it to be that way. But if you look at what Triple H is trying to do in bolstering the roster, look at SmackDown's roster. They need
someone in that position. And people brought up Gunther. I was like, Gunther is occupied. He's clearly they need someone like Karrion right now. And yeah.
And the thing is, like, you bring up Gunther, and people, I think there was a report that said Karrion is like the number 2 heel on Raw. It's like, yeah, Because who the fuck is Drew gonna fight if he loses the Roman? Or who the fuck is like
like stop. Like who's on right? Like who's on fight Drew? You're not bringing over any. No one's on that roster. He's not gonna fight what the Raiders in a 2. No, he's not. Like you gotta bring in someone. And Karrion's a fine hand. He's a fine number 2. It'll probably be what 2 matches at most. Keep it moving.
If they get there, because my thing that I'm interested in is that is he just remaining on SmackDown, or could he go somewhere else? Is that an official SmackDown? I don't know if I saw him on the roster page on SmackDown. Let me check if he's actually on the roster page on SmackDown. Like have they hard committed to Karrion Kross on SmackDown? Let's see. But I mean, like at the end of the day, it's like that roster needed something, and hopefully he can, you know what I'm saying, he'll provide an upper mid card, you know what I'm saying, somebody that's kind of on the cusp but not quite there yet. And they can do that for Drew at least. There's no clue. He's not on any roster page right now. He's not on the SmackDown roster page. So I'm like, is he just on SmackDown? Is he on Raw? Can he go anywhere? He's not officially signed anywhere. He just popped up. You know what I mean? Just same with someone else we're going to talk about on Raw this week. But I get the upset. People that are upset. Not that upset about it, but like I get that people are upset. I get that there could have been other options that I don't know who. No one's been able to tell me yet, Bri. No one's been able to. I've been asking who else.
I've been looking. I've been like, I'm waiting for a name because like you said, who Drew is not fighting Ricochet for his first title defense. Stop, cut it out. Yeah.
Exactly. Who is? They said, well, call up Braun Breaker. Like that. That's not gonna happen.
No. Who and then I like him, but the streets clearly don't want Corbin back in a Drew feud right now. Like stop, like they got to shake something. They got to shake something.
Yeah, something has to happen at least before the draft that makes it. And then you have to have that doubt. I believe. I know Theory isn't around right now. I think he has some family issues, so he's actually been on TV for 2 weeks at this point. Well, SmackDown has an air, but I don't think he's going to be on that either. But there has to be a level of can Drew do it at Clash of the Castle? Will he be cashed in on? Will Karrion play spoiler? What will be the idea? And I like that we don't know. And I think that for Friday, it was a cool angle to end the show. It had us saying, what the fuck? But most of all, Bri, it had us saying, yo, I'm gonna watch this next week. And I think it succeeded. That's
all these questions. That's all these shows need to do.
Yeah.
That's all.
But yeah, I thought it was a solid SmackDown. But let's get to Monday Night Raw from this week. Did it feel like 3 hours to you?
No, well, only because the matches was long. It was around 10 o'clock. I was like, damn, we still got an hour left. But it wasn't like the typical like, dang, I still gotta get through. It was like, we still got more cards. I was like, okay. So it hasn't, but like I said, these matches, please cut these matches. Just because you got 3 hours does not mean use them. Please.
This was a show that was bookended by a lot of stuff. I felt like a lot of stuff happened. A lot of really cool stuff was going on. You open up with Bayley and her crew. Bayley, big bloody Bayley out there.
Look like a blood cell. Like, okay, I agree.
Yeah. And she meets up and her team basically faces off against Bianca, Asuka, and Alexa. I don't know what their name could be. And they agreed to have a match at Clash of the Castle, it's a 6-woman tag match, which I did not think was going to happen. I was just like, I was pretty sure like, oh, you got Bianca, you have her defend and overseas, but I get the vision. You don't want to give away the Bayley match yet. So there it is.
I feel like I feel like the Bayley match should have had. It's a stadium in the UK. I something about me. I don't care for non-title matches, especially when the champion's involved. Something like this, I'm like, ugh. Like I would have really been intrigued.
I get it, but then you gotta you don't want to. I think they're trying so hard to not book themselves into a corner right now, like the other regime did. Where if you do this match, do you really want to beat Bayley for the first time after her being gone for a year? And it's her first match. They're saving her first match for a reason.
You're right. But I just think you don't have to beat her. You can, even though we don't like the the shenanigans finishes. I feel like that's something that would have been that would have been serviceable for that show, especially because I feel as though Bayley has like as a character has a stance like, hey, I had a title match with you, but it was cut last year. Like I have something to stand. She has something to stand on. I just
But it's Bailey like not like Brock. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, oh shit, Bianca she might be in trouble. With that, I'm gonna be like, there has to be a lot of shenanigans for Bailey to even win, which I think would make her look even worse.
yeah.
Especially with her first match back. So you have this 6-woman tag that's happening. But you also had the first round of the women's tag team title tournament where Dakota Kai and Io Shirai had a banger against Tamina.
I haven't enjoyed a Tamina match since that Bayley match at Money in the Bank 2 years ago. That I was like, they asked Tamina to work, and she's working.
She put the Newports down and got to work. Okay, her and Io, I need that one-on-one. I need that.
She put the knees in place. She said, "Let me put the good knees on today," and she got to work. She got to work. I was shocked.
She went crazy, and listen, like they held it down. Of course, Io and Dakota advanced to the next round. What else happened on the show? You had the Street Profits against Seth Rollins. You had Dawkins against Rollins. What do you think about the potential? Are they leaning into the split thing a little too much, or is this just something they're getting through until they get to the next match?
I hope this is something they're getting through tonight. These two don't need to split to me. Is nothing. It could benefit either or, especially right now. Especially in the past, we've seen what everyone says. Oh, Montez, future dude starting to make it, and then no one mentions Dawkins. But last night definitely proved that Dawkins is good on his own too. So I feel as though with these two in a good place, neither of them are floundering by themselves. Neither of them would flounder separately. So I don't think it's nothing being leaned into, especially because they're not doing nothing explicit. Like nothing's like they're not looking at each other weird or something like that, like the obvious things we've seen. So I think we're just getting through the motions right now to the next thing with these two.
Yeah. It was a good match, man. Like I can't even hate on it. Seth can have a good match with anyone. I'm just looking for Seth to actually have some direction. I don't know why they've kept Riddle off TV for so long. He's coming back next week for an exclusive interview. I'm sure they're going to set up the Clash at the Castle match. My thing is that with all these people coming in, I need Riddle to have some direction too, outside of Randy. And these are two guys that are kind of in purgatory. Seth obviously waiting for Cody. Riddle obviously waiting to see what's happening with Randy. What are you seeing here between these two?
Especially with this new regime, especially what you said, Riddle needs something outside of Randy. I feel as though Vince was definitely someone keeping that relationship alive. I feel as though Tripp has he I feel like he'll have something because, like you said earlier, he loves his MMA guys. He loves especially the ones he's worked with, and Riddle is one of those. He'll have something for them coming in hot. As we saw at SummerSlam, I feel as though with these two, it's just going to be smoke until Clash. I feel as though they get the match at Clash. It's just a matter of what's said in between, the promos in between, what the actions. It's a matter of how we get there.
Yeah.
It's nothing more than smoke. That's all I ask. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I definitely agree. One of the another big kind of angle that happened on Raw this week was the Judgment Day Edge and Rey Mysterio. Now, I gotta say, I'm a big fan of the fact that they've course corrected this to a point where everything makes sense now. I'm so glad about that.
Yeah.
Like, you have Edge obviously made a mistake last week.
Mm-hmm.
Goes up to Ray. Dom's still chafed about it. They're trying to give Dom something to do. I don't think he's still the best on the mic, but I get the
Not the best on anything.
But I get the character. They're trying to give him some character.
Right.
I saw somebody say that Ray needs a better son, and I said, "Wow."
Dom just needs to do something besides be his father's moveset. He's and just some. I don't know. Dom is just he's just there to me. I get thoroughly upset when he pops up on my TV screen sometimes because I just like, oh, here we go. Dominic
But
Mysterio.
in this story, I think he has the potential to break away from that, and I'm hoping that's what happens. This led to Finn Balor versus Rey Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite TV matches of this year, man. It was really, really good. I thought it was a bang. It was better than the first match to me.
Yeah. Finn in tights is going off. I'm sorry. Like, I know people don't like the tights. He's been snapping since. He's been snapping since he put them sleeves on. Like, he's put them sleeves, the purple sleeves, and them tights on. He's been going off. Like, it was a fun match, and then towards the end with Rhea coming out was really interesting. Like, something about Judgment Day I love so much is that Rhea does so much as like the woman of, we especially seen a lot of groups involving women just as a solo member. They're usually just either the talking piece or they stand to the side. Rhea,
she's the key.
She is the one. She brought that dude out holding him. I was like, oh yeah, maybe he doesn't need a new son because you get him all in the back like this. Dom was bleeding. I said, okay.
The group flounders without her.
Yes.
And they floundered without her when she was gone. She is kind of the heart and soul of that group. But yeah, she's definitely the one that is like, yo, she's the one to look for. I look forward to her. Even when she wasn't out there, I was like, she must be doing something devious.
Right.
and she did. Finn Balor gets the win on Rey Mysterio. Edge, of course, drew Damian away so that basically he couldn't be helping out Rey, so he wasn't helping out Rey's eye wasn't on the prize, and Rey ends up losing the match. Yeah. I dug it, man. I really dug that whole thing. Ciampa versus Bobby Lashley.
That's a good match. That's a good match between two balls. Like they ate. Like I've never been the biggest fan of Ciampa, even in NXT. Like his character, I'm a character guy. Like, and I love how hard
his character. Do you like his character now?
I won't say I don't like it, but I won't say like it's my favorite. Like I'm okay with it. It's doing what it needs to do, especially as Miz's right hand. He's doing what he's floating. He's floating very well. He knows his role and he's playing to it, which I very much appreciate. As someone I felt was just one of the wrestling guys. But in this match, I love the character work involved. Like he looked genuinely like sad and frustrated and everything. Bobby was just because Bobby's a lot, and that's that character. That's what that match proves. Even like the post match, like Ciampa sitting in that apron, look, his face was priceless. He was just so like, oh my god, like he was in pain. Like it's just stuff like that. It's the small stuff. Ciampa's good in this role, and this match was really good for not only Ciampa but for Bobby was asked to do a lot in this match too. Yeah, I'll give Bobby's working. He's like Triple H. You want to try? I gotta do what?
I bought every single near fall. I love the Gargano escape from the Hurt Lock.
Yes.
I loved Graves saying sometimes you got to do it yourself. What a callback! Obviously, they were in Gargano's hometown this week or home state this week.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about my guy. Again. Man.
He's clocking in next week.
Ciampa can go. Ciampa can go. All right, he can go, man. The Willow's Bell near fall was crazy. I thought that was it.
He planted him. I was like, wait. I forgot who said it in Discord. It was like, that used to have Gargano out for days. I was like, yeah. That was fun. Like every near fall, and Bobby's a good near fall too. That match kind of proved. We're gonna have to see more going forward, but he knew what he was doing. He had me feeding.
It was a sneaky way that they made you believe that Ciampa could beat a guy that's 2 times bigger than him.
Right.
And that's the storytelling that matters to me, where it's like you might be a fan of Ciampa, but you might be wondering how the hell is this going to happen? And it showed you in that match how the fuck that happened. And it was amazing. And I thought it was, I had said that Rey and Finn was one of my favorite team matches. I thought this was better than that. And it was so good. It was really good. One thing I forgot to mention, Kevin Owens basically sending Ezekiel to God.
I was in the bathroom for this.
Was that short?
I heard Kevin's music play. I was like, dang. And then I came back. I forgot what it was on the segment that was after them. I was like, wait, Kevin happened? I was like, oh, 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 but I guess, but they played it back, and I was like, okay, this is good for Kevin, some sort of direction, especially with the backstage segment. I'm glad they gave him that afterwards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And again, Kevin Owens comes out for a promo, and he says, you know, this is still the Kevin Owens show. It seems to be like he's back to his old self. Now, one thing with Triple H booking it, I don't want to just see the guys go back to who they used to be. I actually like character guy Kevin Owens. You know,
yeah.
if you get
Mhm.
like fight Owens fight, I'm past that era. You know what I mean? Like I want to see him do something different.
We don't need to regress, especially with these people. We do not need to regress with the people who is his babies. We don't need to go back. Nothing like that. And I feel as though it's not a big hint towards it, because it's not like he wasn't, beating people up like this. But I feel as though he needs more of that comedic aspect that Vince's regime gave him. Regressing is not the move for me, but it was only this show, so I'm not gonna harp on it low too much. But yeah,
I need more lie detector. I still need him to be brutal, but still have the lie detector test, right?
Lie detector, Kevin. We need more.
Yeah.
We need more.
So there was, speaking of KO's promo, he was doing that in the parking lot area where you notice, if you're watching the show, there was a car crashed in the back. And throughout the show, during the backstage segments, it would keep showing you this car that had crashed into the backstage area. You see Nikki and Doudrop in front of it during KO's promo, and then later on, say what?
Standing like NPCs. That's all Nikki Doudrop. I was like, why did you just stand there with a cape on? Girl, move.
And then later on in the show, you see the car being taken away by a tow truck, and people genuinely confused during Alexa Bliss, Asuka, and Bayley's group, their promo. And you see some, I guess, security running out to the ring.
I was like, what's this about? And they just moved on. I was like, okay.
So you see that, and it leads into AJ versus The Miz, which in a spot of pretty good booking here was a match that spun off from AJ interrupting Miz during Ciampa's match and leading to this main event of the show, which was a no disqualification match between AJ and Miz. They was working.
Look, Miz, like how H asking Bobby a lot. H has also been asking Miz a lot. Miz been doing matches. I'm still shocked at that triple threat from last week with AJ and Ali, and then this match. I was like, Miz is being asked to do a lot, and he's doing it. He can work. He can go. Don't play with Miz. Big Miz.
So AJ wins this match. This seems to have wrapped up this feud, which is completely fine.
Good.
And as AJ celebrates, the camera keeps going towards the security guards arresting somebody in the background, and we can't quite see who he is. And he lifts his head up, and it's Dexter Lumis, but they don't zoom in on it. In fact, they don't even give you the second angle until the next morning about who it was. You hear Corey Graves say, "Was that Dexter Lumis?"
That was the part that confused me, because I feel like they didn't want to acknowledge him, but then the announcement team whispered about him. So I was like, "So is he?" But it was fun. Yeah, they did this it was what I loved. It was seamless throughout the whole show. You're just wondering, and then it gets to that, and like you said, they don't show the second angle. That just showing him in the distance and then moving along with it. Oh yeah, I'm tapped in next week. That's all you gotta do.
And when is the last time Raw ended without everything being kind of solved like this, where it's like we don't have a mystery. We don't know why Lumis was there, but we know Lumis is back. And why did he crash the car into the building? Who was he looking for? What is he there for? We don't know. And again, and I said this with Karrion Kross as well, it's all about how you use them. And Lumis is not some guy that I see as like a world title favorite.
No.
Never was. But if he's somebody that can move along a really cool story, and another thing is that if rumors are true and Paul Heyman is back on creative, this is just the type of shit he would be doing.
Yeah, this has fingerprints all over it. Yeah, and it's showing. It's showing. It's right, like you said. It gets you wondering. It gets you thinking all these questions. Lumis, he's a good man for this role. His character is good for this role, because you just really don't know, and you're just sitting back. That's all. That's it.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Do you think he's aiming for AJ?
I feel this act is kind of going towards a general body type of thing. Like I don't think he was aiming. We don't know. I feel like we don't know who his aim is yet. I feel like AJ is not the person. I feel as though this was a moment for him to be like, you see my face, and I think like we said, it just comes with the questions of who is he really. I really don't think AJ is the target, but I feel as though his target was my presence to be felt.
Right.
That's what my theory is.
Very, very, very theatrical. Very, 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 very good writing, man. I gotta say, I really enjoyed Raw this week. You're leaning on the women in terms of just like main event, big match, big storyline. Bayley's all over this show.
All over the entire group, and it's yeah.
They treat her like a big deal. They treat Io. Can you believe it? They treat Io like a big deal.
I thought she was going home. I was told she was going home.
What happened?
What happened? No one. Rumors.
They said, well, Triple H came back, duh. But I was like, no.
Like she's a presence, and she talking that smack. She's getting the pins. she's the one in 2 matches now, back to back. She's showing off. Like she's getting smoke from Bianca. Like she wants it. Like
that's one thing I like. Bianca didn't look at Bayley. She said, "I want more smoke with you."
Right. Like it's like.
I dig it, man. But I pretty much I dug everything. So week 2 of Triple H. I'm gonna wait and see on SmackDown, but I'm giving his Monday Night Raw a thumbs up. What do you think?
Yeah. Lipo on SmackDown, but Raw, yeah, take that wheel. It's up from here. As long as you keep, have us looking forward and having the stories kind of make sense, I guess. Just kind of play out how they should on a weekly, TV show basis. It's all you got to do.
Absolutely. All right, so that was this week in wrestling. Meelz had to step out. Sorry, guys. I know you guys are like, where the fuck did Meelz go? He had to step out. He had an emergency. He's fine. He's gonna be fine. But he just had I think it was a work emergency, so he had to step out. So me and Bri, we held it down for y'all this week. So thank y'all for listening.
Yeah.
And thank you, Bri Bosa, man. You this was everything that I had envisioned and more.
Really, thank you. So I was a little nervous because I've done not a podcast, but I've spoken. I'm an actor in the area. Like I know how to like maneuver these type of things. But I was so like, let me see if I can just flow within the conversation. And I felt like I held my own. I was like, okay, the nerve kind of went away.
You're my co-host for the last 40 minutes.
Right, right. I was like, wait a minute, I'm happy. Okay,
you stepped up to the plate, man, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you all for listening to the A Show. Please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube, and please make sure, hey man, drop the 5, man. You'll get to see Bri in all of his fucking glory.
All of it. You get the awoogas. You get everything. Just join the community. This is a great community. Join us. Yes.
Oh man, you get to see everything on our Discord, and then you also get access to some of our content that's coming up. Make sure you check out our show from last week. The episode 250 was definitely one of my favorite shows of ours of all time. And yeah, thank you guys. I believe for patrons we're gonna have the spot callers poll up this Friday too. I'm working on that right now. So thank you guys for listening. For Bri Bosa, for Meelz, I am J5, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.